What's up, everybody? This is Peter again for Sports Hot Rumors and Debates. How are you guys today? Guys, I wanted to talk about coaching today because somebody was commenting on one of my videos recently, and they were talking about Kliff Kingsbury and that, this guy's not made for the NFL and he's college. Well, his record wasn't that good, and, now he's going to come into the NFL. And let me explain something. Some people, this is where people start getting too wrapped up in records and what happened in college. When you have it doesn't matter. Sometimes it doesn't work for teams, okay? Kliff Kingsbury has a mind that is so sharp, it's perfect for the NFL. The NFL hasn't seen much minds like that. Like Patrick Peterson said this the other day too. Andy Reid is one of the only guys who's very creative like this. Just like look at the way Kansas City is. Patrick Mahomes is amazing. But Andy Reid couldn't figure it out to win a championship, right? The way it was, because he has to have the right players to fit. Now, was he successful in it? Yeah, he was successful. But it took him a very long time to get where he needed to finally get. And that was because it fit for Patrick Mahomes. And when pieces fit, the offense and the mind look so much better. There are so many coaches that are really good that honestly didn't get a chance because either the players weren't doing it right, or the receivers that they had didn't fit, or the running back couldn't fit the system. Kliff Kingsbury is a genius. He has such a smart mind for this. The guy has what you call the it factor. So I'm not sure where people are not seeing this because they're like, oh, look at his record in college. Listen to me. This guy is going to be a success in the NFL. Now you put players around him. And ever since that Kyler Murray said, listen, I'm going to the NFL, we knew it. We knew what was going to happen. Kingsbury was like, oh, we got to fit this. Because now if Rosen plays with Kingsbury, maybe he's not as successful. Maybe it's going to be like, oh, this doesn't fit. He doesn't know how to move. You need fast guys. You need guys who can get to the spot quick. Good running backs who can catch. Tight ends who know how to move. This is what Arizona is building. They are fitting it. And last year, he did so well. And we were doing this without great players and without a defense. So I'm not sure why everybody's saying Kingsbury can't do it. I'm not sure why Stephen A. Smith is so much on Kliff Kingsbury. It's so important, okay, to have a coach who's young-minded and who knows what he's talking about. Notice a lot of the old coaches are going. Besides guys like Belichick and Reid, there's not many old guys like that. Even McCarthy, who's good, he wore up his time with Green Bay when Rodgers and everything. They brought in a young guy. Sometimes you got to get fresh minds in there. Does the Rams ring a bell? Let me tell you something. It's the new way of sports. Same in basketball, shooting three-pointers, doing all this stuff. It's the new way. Having guys, you don't need big men anymore. And I've mentioned this a long time ago, but I'm just not sure why Kingsbury is not catching on with some people. All of a sudden, let me tell you what's going to happen. Arizona is going to be very successful, and everybody's going to go, oh my God, who's seen this coming? Nobody knew Kingsbury. How did they get it? How did Steve come able to get a guy that didn't have a great record in college come to the NFL and be successful? Because we look deeper. We looked at a guy whose mind was creative. It's just you have to find the right players. And it goes the other way around too. Sometimes great players have bad coaches, and the coaches cannot do it. The coaches just don't know how to do it, and they don't know how to fit some of the players' either strengths or something, and it doesn't work and it fails. That's why those players go to other teams and are so successful, and then you start saying, how the hell did we miss them? No, it's because the system wasn't working. Shanahan, this guy went to the 49ers. He looks like a genius now. It's crazy because it's just sometimes you need the right players, but just not one or two. Sometimes you need the right players at the most important positions, and that's running back and quarterback. Those are the guys who are establishing it. You need obviously number one receivers, but you can deal with kind of good receivers if you have a solid running back and a solid quarterback that can run, because you can make stuff happen and guys will get open. But if you have just a basic quarterback that's going to take a couple step back, can't handle the blitz, then you completely are screwed, right? You're not going to be able to do what you want because you need time on the offense. You need quick players to get to the spot, Some people just, I'm not sure if they don't understand that the NFL has changed. Sorry, my girlfriend was screaming at the baby or the dog, one or the other. So anyway, sometimes you have to adapt with the times. Baseball is different. It's not the same anymore. Back then, a couple runs, 20 home runs would be great. You hit 20 home runs. You either kind of pitched a game where you went 8 innings, 7.5 innings. That was the norm. Now it's different. Now you go 5, 6 innings the most sometimes for these pitchers. And the number 8 or 9 hitters are hitting 25, 30 home runs. When did you see that? So that's not the new norm anymore. Most people are not even bunting anymore, right? Before it used to be solid baseball. Guy gets on, move him over, get him in. Nobody even barely does that. I've watched teams down by 1 run and don't even try that anymore. It's just a different time than we were used to growing up in the 90s and the early 2000s. And I mean this for all sports. Things have changed. So many people are taking 3-pointers when they don't get 2 because 3 is easier. It's more points, it's faster, it's sexier. But you have to have the right players, right? How many times you see a team, like I'm a diehard Memphis Grizzlies fan, and there was a time when they knew they needed to start hitting threes to adapt with the Golden State and everything, and they couldn't do it because they didn't have the shooters to do it, right? They had more gritty players like Zach Randolph and Marc Gasol and Tony Allen. You can't have Tony Allen and these guys shooting threes. That's why Marc Gasol started to become a 3-point shooter, because he knew he had to adjust as a center. And be it Toronto won the championship because they needed him. That's why they made that trade for it. So you got to be able to have players that fit. And if you don't, then you got to look at the coach. But if the coach is one of those guys who have a strength and then knows how to fit the players, then you say, you know what, this is not the coach. This guy needs to stay here and we need to figure this out. But if you have talented players, athletes that obviously are very good to play this game and they're not winning, then you have to say, okay, what's going on with this coach? But it has to be looked at into a more in-depth thing. You have to start saying, not just analytics, you got to start really looking around what's wrong here. Records doesn't always mean anything. Sometimes people get too much in analytics. Sometimes people start looking at every single little thing, and that's not the answer. That's why those people who do it, hint, hint, Gabe Kapler, when he was the Philly, it doesn't work. A computer doesn't tell you everything. It tells you some, but not everything. Sometimes you just need it. Like a guy like Madison Bumgarner. That guy is going to be filthy, tough, strong. He's not going to sit there nibbling on the corners, sitting there. He's going to throw at your head. He's going to throw right there, 95, right in on your hands. He's not going to sit there and be soft. Computers don't tell that. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can't. When you need a game and a real tough thing, you need those players. Stuff that computers can't come up with. You need the things that don't show up in the box score, that don't show up in the computer. And that's what I'm talking about with Kingsbury. Kingsbury, their record didn't show last year, but if you looked at the game, he was terrific. The players were open. A lot of guys dropped balls, and Kyler Murray didn't have time. Defense honestly let them down so many times. I don't know if I'm rambling too much, but I'm just trying to make my point here. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.